All right, here with Michael Kopech, White Sox starting pitcher. And Michael, how is spring training going here at the start?
It's going well so far. Everybody's got a newfound energy. We got a little bit of a chip on our shoulder or something to prove at least coming off of last season. A little bit of disappointment, a lot of disappointment. But everybody's working hard so far. I know that with the new staff and Pedro kind of getting everything set up, that guys are excited and there's some new energy that's been found. So it's been a good start to spring.
How did that disappointment define the offseason for you guys?
I think we all knew individually what we had to go in and work on, and then coming back, I think we've just kind of seen that come together as a team. We have a lot of workhorses on this team, and when you put all that together and have all that pulling on the same end of a rope, then we know what we're capable of. So I think it has kind of given us a chip on our shoulder to redefine our identity in this game.
You mentioned Pedro and a new energy in here. What has it been like under the new manager and the new staff?
It's been great. I think Pedro takes his role serious, demands respect, but also gives respect. We've got quite a few veterans in our clubhouse that that's what they want from a team, from your peers and your players, but also from your staff and your coaches. And I think being kind of one of the guys that's in between, being a new guy and an older guy, that I just want to be looked at with respect, but also work to get the respect that I need. He demands work out of all of us, and we're going to be willing to give that to him.
You talked a few days ago about kind of your time in this organization kind of flying by, but it has been a few years now. How do you kind of look back on things, and I guess more importantly, how do you look forward on things?
It's been a roller coaster with getting traded over back in, offseason 16, going into 17. Injuries and what have you, that's kind of, made me take a step back in my career. And then, a little bit of success in a starting role, a little bit of success in a relieving role in the big leagues, and a lot of motivation there to get better and continue to work. But it's been surreal to have the career that I've been able to have so far. Hopefully I have a lot more ahead of me. And as far as looking forward, I know that every day is an opportunity to get better. And at this point in my career, I have to take that very serious, because there's younger guys that I once was chomping at the bit to have the same job that I have. I'm excited for those guys, and I hope to work alongside them rather than them taking my place. So I have to continue doing what's got me here and what I think will make me better.
You had high hopes going into last season, your first full season as a starter in the big leagues. Mm-hmm. How do you think it went? Obviously, some hiccups with the health, but how do you think things went for you in 2022? I'm not ecstatic with it. I'm also not extremely disappointed with it. I made 25 starts after not starting for a few years. The injuries suck. There's no sugarcoating it, but I was able to show myself that I'm able to grind through some things, show the team that I'm able to compete with not necessarily my best stuff every time. And it also shows me that I'm able to compete against the best competition in the world without my best stuff every now and then. It gives me a little bit of a, confidence boost to think that when I do have my best stuff and I can remain healthy for as long as possible, that I can get out there and compete with the best of anyone. What do you think when you look around and you see this rotation? Lucas has done some great things. Dylan coming off of his year last year. Lance is Lance. What do you look at when you see this starting staff?
I see a lot of motivation for myself individually. I see a bright future ahead for the season to come. I see an opportunity for all of us to make each other better. I know it may not seem like Dylan and I have much to offer a guy like Lance, but I think nonetheless Dylan having the success that he has kind of motivates all of us to, compete, friendly competition amongst ourselves and have a good fifth day every time we take the mound. I think we all know what each one of us is capable of. Those three guys that you named have all shown it. I'm still hoping to show it in the big leagues. But I think nonetheless that, we all make each other better.
Keep hearing everybody, whether it's Dylan, whether it's Ethan, Yasmani said it, that Dylan was so good last year, but there's room for him to get even better.
Absolutely.
What do you think on how good Dylan can be?
He can be one of the best in the game, and there's no question about it. He's shown that he has an elite fastball. He's shown that he has one of the best sliders in baseball. He's shown that he has consistency with his curveball. He's gotten more and more consistent with his changeup. He repeats his delivery extremely well. And with that being said, each one of those things can be done a little bit better. We talk about it every year we come into spring. There's always room to improve on things. And with all of us being somewhat perfectionist, we kind of pick that apart amongst ourselves. And I know he's done that for himself. Him and I have many conversations about pitching. We don't always look at things exactly the same way, but he has a philosophy that works for him, and he has cues that work for him on the mound. And once he finds a new cue, he's dedicated to it, and he's determined to get better through that. And we've seen it time and time again. We saw it last year, and I'm sure we'll see it again this year.
I know you said that this offseason has been about getting healthy for you and getting back to where you want to be with the knee and everything like that. Do you have any fun in the offseason? What do you do in the spare time?
Yeah, hang out with my kids. I got to go back and forth between Vancouver area and where I live in Texas, and I got between my fiance and I, we have 3 children. So we've gotten to do some really cool things with them, whether it was, go see a national park or go on a hike or whatever. We just enjoy spending time with our children, and we've had lots of opportunities to do that in lots of different places, and we're extremely fortunate in that regard. And when I think about what a payoff of this career is going to be, it's going to be for them. So that's where I find my joy.
I'm a Parks guy myself. What was your highlight of the off season?
So there's a forest in Surrey, British Columbia, and I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. I think it's just called Redwoods Park, but it's a bunch of imported trees from overseas, and none of them are really local, and it's just a really unique forest. It's hard to explain, but they have a section of the forest that has all these different birdhouses that people just come, they paint them customized, and they just leave them in the forest. And I know you don't want to, litter up a forest or anything like that, and that's kind of what that sounds like. But for the kids, it's really cool because they go out there and they're in shock of all the little birdhouses, and their imaginations are neat. They think the birds made them themselves, so it's pretty cool to see. So we had fun with that.
That sounds cool. Finally, a lot of that talk about expectations, obviously.
Yeah.
A year ago, they were so high for you guys, and now outside the team, the reaction is what it is after what the on-field results were. How do you guys look at expectations for the upcoming season?
I think we have high expectations for ourselves. I think we will always have high expectations for ourselves, because if we don't, then we're lowering the bar, we're lowering the standard, and we'll never do that for ourselves. We want to be elite amongst the elite, and in order to do that, the goal is World Series every year. And if we fall short, then it's disappointment. So even though last year we didn't even make a postseason, the year before we won the division and we lost first round in the postseason, that was also a disappointment. So in order to fulfill our expectations, there's really only one goal in mind, and I think everyone in the clubhouse has that in mind.